Game week 2 on the horizon, and we've already had our first prize drop, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fantasy Football G. I'm your host, Kat, and today we're going to be looking at some transfer tips ahead of game week 2. So, without further ado, let's get into this. All right. We are entering big leagues, ladies and gentlemen. So, just making an announcement that the tools that I use here are from Fantasy Football Hub, guys. If you're really loving the tools, then please use the link below in the description so that you can get your 30-day trial when you sign up for the most popular pro subscription, and you can get all the tools that basically I'm using here and help you out. And even better, which honestly what made me go for them, is the fact that if you don't win your mini league, then they give you all your money back. I'm like, what? Yeah, real story. I know. Impressive, very impressive. So if you are really wanting to try it out, then use the link below in the description and you can actually get a 30-day trial. And of course, yeah, try and win your mini league. So speaking about that, by the way, let's see how the Fantasy Football G league is going. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's Cat at the top. So yeah, of course, we had one more game left, which pushed me up to the top, knocking a few important people out, actually, bringing some people in. Jason Paxson came in at his hashtag 20 all for 1 United, and it also brought in Bloodline FC, kicking out my brother Bandwagon 11 and the Tempestuous Sea. So storm is over. Storm is over. Storm is over now. Yeah, I can see you heaven. Heaven is over me. Come on and set me free. All right, can't sing, but let me know what you thought about that in the comments below. All right, guys, let's get into it. So yeah, first price drop happened. Actually, this is the latest price dropped and rises prediction from the Fantasy Football Hub. As you can see there, Gakpo's at the top, nearly decreasing, and that is predicted to happen tomorrow with Jesus as well. The most interesting thing is you can see that Kai Havertz, Diogo Jota, and possibly Vardy are on the rise, but it's about monitoring that. This part of Fantasy Football Hub is absolutely free, so I've also got the link below. You guys can go and check that out. Not really going to mention the guys up below because I really doubt they're going to have any sort of price rises or drops, but the big price drop that has already happened is, you can guess it, yes, say it, Quanza. So Quanza, guys, is the big price drop that's already happened. He's dropped now to 4.4, and this forced me to make my actual transfer. So what transfer did I make? Now, everybody has been talking about actually getting Robinson. He has some really great fixtures, to be honest. He's got Leicester City next. I think, I'm not sure who else the other person, but I know followed by that is Ipswich. So he is really a good option, but I had to actually go for looking at two other candidates, more so for the long term. So let's actually take a look at them here. That is Cash and Robinson. So I had to compare, and I said, you know what? Who should I go for? Fine. Leicester City at home for Robinson now. He's got Ipswich straight after that, actually. Yes, that's Ipswich. And then he's got West Ham at home, which is big and important as well. Followed by, is that Newcastle? Yes, Nottingham Forest. And then the Man City game. But for the long term, I honestly believe Cash was the better one. And here on Fantasy Football Hub points prediction, you can see that that's what they show. That fine. Yes, of course, Robinson will be ranked higher in terms of points predicted for game week 2, but you can see then Cash's points prediction starts to rise straight after that for the following 4 game weeks. So I think Cash, in my opinion, it was the better option, and that is the transfer that I was forced to make. Say forced because, in all honesty, I wish I could have rolled, but that is one of the transfers I would have made anyways, bringing in an Aston Villa person maybe not defender, person for their fixture, their next fixture turn in game week 3. So yeah, but without further ado, let's also take a look at which are the other best defenders that you guys can take a look at if you do not have that conundrum of Quanza having dropped. And I would still recommend you probably take him out if that's the case. Just sticking onto him, what Arne Slot said is he was pulled off the field because he was not necessarily winning the duels, and it just puts two and one together in the sense of he didn't necessarily mention his name, but he brought on Konate because he needed somebody to win the duels. So Quanza coming off and thinking about the physicality of the Premier League, it actually makes sense that you don't expect Quanza to actually play again just on that specific point, because strength-wise you would rate Konate above Quanza anyway, and they're playing Brentford next to have some very physical guys as defenders like Pinnock. So, I think it's a no-brainer that that Quanza might not necessarily feature right now, maybe in different competitions. So, yeah, that is my verdict on Quanza and what I think. Cool. Now, other defenders for Game Week 2 transfers. So I brought up and I said, okay, look, who's the best 4 to 5.0 defender? I didn't look at the rest above because I felt like there's no actual need at the moment. I think everybody who's 5.5 and above is necessarily locked in our team. So I felt like there's the issue with Valentino Barco, who I think, if touching on that, guys, I think he is definitely somebody that you should consider getting rid of if you're looking for a plain 4.5, which we do have the options of, many options of as well. So I think if that's what you're considering, I would definitely support you in that. There are a couple of actual options, but on the other hand as well, I still prefer you roll your transfer, saying that because he currently is not anywhere, and you could see in the price dropping table there. So that means that people, quite frankly, are keeping a hold of him, and you should anyway because he's 4.0. At 4.0, it's not necessarily like you expected that defender to really play. He was always just your enabler in the defense, which you would keep on the bench anyway. So your last defender. So I wouldn't stress. Roll your transfer over. Don't think about taking him out now. Think about that future, and that way it's easier for you because you'll have more than one transfer to be able to take him out, free up some money with another person, and then split it between the two positions. Awesome. Now, what was very interesting about this was the fact that Rico Lewis popped up at the top, and I say this because we assumed that Kyle Walker would be coming back into the second game, but clearly his points are predicted lower. And in terms of Man City, the higher guys who are predicted as Akanji and Diaz above this price bracket. So Rico Lewis had a really great game, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I would not, and I said this before, I would not bring him in if that's what you're thinking. I think Kyle Walker is definitely a locked-in player there, considering the amount of competitions they're going to be playing and the season as it gets tougher. I think if Rico Lewis, I think looking at the situation, the fact that it's Ipswich, I think to give Kyle Walker a bit of a chance, a bit of time as well to ease back in, I think he'll make an appearance here. And I'm not sure that Rico Lewis will play, so I don't think go for Rico Lewis in this case. Romero honestly was being very, very dangerous with those set pieces coming in with the head as well. So he is a good option, but only for game week 2. In the long run, their fixtures start to turn from game week 3. And so I would stay away from the Tottenham defense, as well as we know that they are actually very leaky. So yeah, Munoz, in my opinion, I think is a very good option. He's very attacking. He's honestly like right-sided Pedro, right-sided Vardio. He gave an assist this weekend, so you can already see how involved he is up the pitch. I was considering him in my preseason when I was creating my squad. So yeah, that is very interesting that he came up here. And then of course you have Gusto coming in because the Chelsea fixtures start to take a turn. They're playing Wolves, Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth, and then West Ham. And I, quite frankly, I'm still not sure about Chelsea in general. I think we need to give them time. So I wouldn't necessarily go for a Gusto really here. I myself would honestly just, if you guys are looking for somebody to go for long term, if I would go for an Aston Villa defender because their fixtures are going to turn, and I would also go for if you're looking for a 1 game week punt, then if you have the money, I'd go for a City defense, of course. I think Akanji is going to be more of a locked player, but if you want to go for a really solid player as well, I would go for a Diaz in that defense at 5.5. And then, of course, Kyle Walker's and also another option. So those are my defensive options for Game Week 2 transfer tips. And then let's also take a look at the goalkeepers, just going back, so that we could finish off the defense there. We have Alisson Becker at the top there, and I removed Edison because it's obvious. But I also thought of removing Alisson Becker to cover more options below. Now, firstly, you shouldn't be making a keeper transfer, but I wanted to cover this so that maybe it could help you with your conundrum as to which keeper should be playing. And I say this because a lot of people actually have Henderson, who, interestingly enough, very interesting enough, he's going at 33.8 points predicted. So he just made it. He is just underneath this this top 5 over here. And again, it goes to say, why did everybody go with him? But in my opinion, I think if you're going to be playing, if you have one of these keepers, Leno is definitely somebody who is a great person to bring in. Some people might be wildcarding, we never know, but I think Leno's definitely somebody that you should be bringing in, considering that he'll be there for the long run. I still stand by what I say. Pope and the Nottingham Forest fixtures are, for me, by far the best fixture rotation when it comes to goalkeepers. Funny enough, this week, I'm not actually sure who I should play between Sals and Pope. Sals is actually ranked higher than Pope, but points predicted are the same at 3.8. I just think that I think both of them are going to concede, in all honesty. I really do. So who's got the better defense? Who's playing the stronger team? Those are the two components I'm going to really be looking at and focusing on and seeing if I should go with either or. At the moment, right now, I'm going to be going with Sals because Sals is playing Southampton. And I think Bournemouth can definitely score a goal at home with a weakened Newcastle who has a red card and not necessarily the strongest right back or the centre backs. They first starting lineup centre backs as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did get a clean sheet because it is Newcastle. But I think I would rather put my money on Southampton not scoring, but we'll see. So yeah, these are my top goalkeepers. I would stay away again, like I said, from bringing in Vicario because it's only good for a game week 2. Raya, if you're looking for long term, including Alisson Becker, is why I included these guys. Their points prediction for like 10 game weeks, Alisson and Raya come out on top. So I think if you're looking for a long-term fix, then Raya and Alisson are actually a better option there. I would not pay attention to McCarthy, although his fixtures do take a good turn from now. Apologies for that. From now until game week 6. Cool. Now we're done with the goalkeepers, so let's actually take a look at the midfielders. Awesome. So what I did is I split the midfielders into 2. So what we're looking at right now is the prime midfielders. All right. You should have one of these players already. All right. I believe a lot of us have Eze, who's so unlucky. And if you don't have him and you're looking to bring somebody in, then I think Eze is definitely somebody you can bring in. His release clause has expired. So it does seem like he's somebody who is going to be staying at the club this season. I think one thing I wanted to touch on with these guys is very interesting. Kevin De Bruyne is ranked higher in points prediction than Phil Foden. Kevin De Bruyne is 6.56 points predicted for this game coming up, and Foden is at 5.1. And I think, of course, that is the AI, which, if I didn't mention, Fantasy Football Hub uses AI to help them predict these points. And the AI did very well in the previous season. So you are having a lot of help from the AI from Fantasy Football Hub. Again, if you are really interested and would also like to use these tools and get a 30-day trial and get also that offer of money back if you don't win your mini league, then use the link in the description below and you get exactly that. Kevin De Bruyne is somebody I mentioned in the preseason saying I think we're sleeping on him because this is a fit Kevin De Bruyne who played the entire Euros. The king is back, quite frankly. Yes, he didn't make a return, but he played very much a large sum of the game. And Phil Foden came in second half. I think that Kevin De Bruyne is definitely an option, guys, at 9.5. He is by far the cheapest besides Eze amongst those guys, Cole Palmer, Saka, and Son. Again, with coming to Chelsea, I would stay away from it. I think with Cole Palmer not returning as well, if you've already got him, hold him. Chelsea's fixtures are turning. Don't look to just sell him. Be patient in that sense, because if Chelsea starts to boom, then of course you are all good and all happy. But João Felix is going to be coming into the team based on what transfer rumors are. It seems like the deal is going to go through. And that begs the question as to where is he going to fit in. So I think Cole Palmer should be somebody, and Chelsea entirely, who you should necessarily be keeping an eye on to make sure that you are picking players who are going to have enough minutes to make an impact for you on your team and give you returns as well. Bukayo Saka, fixture proof. Honestly, fixture proof. So if you are looking to wildcard later on, he is definitely somebody that you should be bringing in. But right now, he's playing Aston Villa, as I said, fixture proof. So if you've got him, keep him. If you want to bring him in, there's absolutely no problem with that. He is actually a very good option to bring in. Son Min-hoon, he is playing on the left, very wide. If you ask me, in my opinion, I hardly saw him come in too much into the actual box. So I necessarily didn't like him. I have Johnson, who's on the other wing, who, for me, in my opinion, if you ask me, was making a whole lot of runs into the box and even included in the threats for the defense, for the corner, the attacking corners. And I just feel like there's a lot of the build-up play on the left-hand side, which is Son's side, and it makes sense for then Johnson coming in, waiting for that ball to finally come in. I think if it was the other way around, where a lot of build-up play was coming in from the right and the ball was then swinging into the left, then, Son would be a good option. But even so, when Pedro Porro's on the ball, he's looking for Solanke, and I don't see him looking out far to the post, really, to a Son. So I just felt like Son, for me, at 10 million is not necessarily worth it. I feel like you could go for a Johnson, who's 6.5, if you really want to get into that attacking line. And that's a cheaper option than Dominic Solanke, who we'll touch on sooner. But let's take a look at the second part of the mids, which is the 5 million to the 7 million bracket. So I wanted to include this because I feel like the midfield options are just absolutely enormous. And I think there's a whole lot of options. And what I found interesting in this bracket here is that Hee Chan was at the top. Like, what? Yeah, Hee Chan is at the top above Bernardo Silva and Doku, who's going to be playing Ipswich. So I don't necessarily know their games, but I know for a fact they're not at the top of the fixture ticker. And that for me was very interesting. I don't think go for Hee Chan, but I think what it means is this is an indication that the AI is trying to say, keep an eye on this guy. He could actually be very dangerous. We all know that he is very much now the talisman for that team. Of course, Arsenal did not give him an opportunity. So that kept him very quiet in that game. But, he is going to be playing Chelsea now. So we'll see what he can do and how he can do it. Going into Man City's midfield, Bernardo Silva. So Slovenia got a knock on the game. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be back in time for the next game. But I think if you want to go for a safe option in that actual Man City pick, I think Bernardo Silva is going to be the one to go for, because in Pep's build up to the season, he did say that he wants Bernardo to be playing more of a central role now, which we did see him doing, quite frankly, alongside with KDB. And he's not actually playing on the right-hand side or anything like that. So I think Bernardo Silva, also having got the assist, is really much a great option. But he's a player who you have to be patient with. You're not going to get returns week in, week out. You've seen that, we've proven. But where he does give a return, it's really in a great time where everybody else is looking for something and they don't have him. And he is a very great differential. As you can see, his ownership is only 5.9 over there. Then Doku, I think for me, what I love about Doku is I actually look to have Doku in the low block sitting teams that Man City will be facing, because he's a person that Man City, I've realized, tries to get the ball to in order to really break that defense, break through and get that assist. And last season we saw that when he had four returns in a game, and 4 assists actually in a game. So I think Ipswich might be a team that sits in a low block. And if you want to take a punt, my punt for the week is Doku. He's also at 6.5. Another good differential at 4.1. I think he's guaranteed. I don't think that this game will be a game for Grealish. Will he have some minutes? Yes, he can. If he does, I think it might actually only be in the first few minutes of the game, and I think Doku will come in then at that point. But otherwise, I believe Doku will start that game and possibly finish that game as well to help unlock that defense as well. Mitoma is somebody who's gone really under the radar. Brighton having a very good first game. Minte also having a concussion. So with concussion protocols, they have to be out for at least 7 days. So he's definitely somebody who's going to be playing. He is seen to be untested anyway on his left flank. So he's somebody that you could bring in if you're looking for a very, very big differential. But their fixtures aren't necessarily the best, if you ask me. I believe they're playing Man United. Yeah, they're going to be playing Man United next at home. And in all honesty, I actually think, just knowing Man United, how inconsistent they are, no offense to the big boys, I actually think Brighton can actually walk away with 3 points there if Man United is sleeping that day. Brenton Diaz, 5.5, with the fixture turn of Southampton. He's looking like another great option. He is a very good performer in very small teams. And I say that because he also was the top performer for struggling Sunderland last season. So I think if you're looking for a cheap option and a very big differential, who's also at 0.7, like Hee-Chan, that's definitely somebody you can go with. But besides that, for a game week 2, I would say look at those 2 City midfielders. So let us go into the strike force. And of course, Erling Haaland there at the top alongside Isak playing Bournemouth. Muniz now starts to become way more favored than our game week 1 conundrum between Woods and Muniz. He didn't have a return, but he's got a good fixture turn now. He's going to be playing a lot of good games, as you know. So I think Muniz is somebody, if you're looking to make changes in your actual strike force, Muniz is someone you can definitely 100% bring in. That is a good transfer for game week 2. Kai Havertz, sleeping, guys. We are absolutely sleeping. Kai Havertz is an amazing transfer for you. 8 million into that Arsenal attack. I did say this. I really did want him in, but I just couldn't fit him into my team without making sacrifices. So if you do have the budget, if you maybe want to come down from Isak, you can go to Kai Havertz because he's even cheaper than Isak. A lot of people are actually transferring out Watkins, but just mentioning him because he's not here, he actually features right below Solanke, so he didn't make it into the cut of the top 5. But I would keep Watkins because Watkins himself as well, I would say, is fixture-proof in the sense that he is the striker for a very good Aston Villa. And the 8 fixtures are turning for the good at game week 3, straight after this game week. So I would say hold on to Watkins. Do not let go of him. But if you really do want to go to, off of Watkins and save some money, then I would go for a Kai Havertz as over a Solanke, which is the next guy we're going to go into. Solanke, again, as the fixtures say, I think he's only good for a game week 2 if we're looking at the other options of strikers that we have. He didn't return. That doesn't necessarily, I don't think he will. He was definitely there, and we could all see how Pedro Porro and the crosses are all trying to find him. He was in the spaces. So he's definitely getting a lot of chances, possibly more than he was actually at Bournemouth. So he's definitely going to make a haul sooner or later. And if you already have him, well done. I just myself don't think, I was just like, nah, maybe it's because it's the Arsenal, the gunner in me, but I'm like, nah, guys, nah. But he will return. I 100% could see that they are really looking for him in that box. So he is a good pick, but for the long term, no. And compared to the other guys who have better fixtures, I honestly right now would put Muniz and Kai Havertz above him. I think most of us already have Haaland and Isak. So if you're looking for a third striker, then I would put Muniz and Havertz there as well. So yeah, guys, that's it for the show. If you want to see my players to swap or to watch, then you can check out this video over here where I also covered those players from game week 1. That's really a good video, and I will see you guys. Don't forget, if you do want to get your 30-day trial with the Fantasy Football Hub, then the link is in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.